much, now I'm swallowed.
Francis Ngannou recently fired back at Dana White after the UFC CEO made some biting comments about the former UFC heavyweight champion. Ngannou, who parted ways with the UFC in January 2023 following unsuccessful contract negotiations, has since moved on, but it seems White hasn't. In those negotiations, Ngannou pushed for terms that were important to him, including the freedom to participate in boxing matches, healthcare coverage for fighters, and other benefits. However, the UFC was unwilling to meet these demands, prompting Ngannou to leave the organization. Shortly after his departure, Ngannou joined the Professional Fighters League, PFL, and was appointed as chairman of PFL Africa. Recently, he made a strong debut in the PFL, facing 2023 heavyweight champion Renan Ferreira at the Battle of the Giants event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Ngannou showcased a diverse skill set, controlling the fight by taking Ferreira down early and finishing him with a first-round stoppage, a victory that highlighted his readiness and abilities in a new league. Despite Ngannou's impressive debut, White wasn't in the mood for praise. During a power slap press conference, White dismissed Ngannou's PFL title win, saying that nobody really wants to fight in the PFL aside from Ngannou himself. White even suggested that Ngannou's move to the PFL was purely financially motivated, and that he could have made more money had he stayed in the UFC. In response, Ngannou expressed his frustration with White's continuous negative remarks. While Ngannou feels he has moved on, he finds White's lingering obsession puzzling, especially since he no longer fights under the UFC banner. Ngannou also alleged that the UFC still owes him for his past wins, including those over Cyril Gane and Stipe Miocic. Speaking to MMA on SiriusXM, Ngannou noted that White's refusal to let the past go is becoming an issue of pride and stubbornness. Dana's just trying to spin things to cover his own losses, Ngannou explained. He lost in this situation, and I think he just can't accept that. I won. I left almost 2 years ago, and he's still talking about it. He's the one who can't seem to move on. For me, I went out there, fought a great fight in honor of my son's memory, and yet here he is still making it about him. I don't know what his problem is. Ngannou's journey has been one of taking risks, making sacrifices, and betting on himself. Leaving the UFC, the world's largest MMA organization, was a bold step, but one that Ngannou felt was necessary to stay true to his principles. By demanding better conditions for fighters, including himself, Ngannou has stood out as a unique voice in combat sports. His transition to the PFL, where he's found support for his vision of fighter independence, marks a new chapter in his career, even if it means crossing swords with his former employer. Ultimately, Ngannou's experience sheds light on the evolving landscape of MMA, where athletes increasingly demand rights, opportunities, and autonomy. For him, joining the PFL and contributing to the growth of MMA in Africa is a meaningful step forward. And he's making it clear that his journey isn't just about money or personal gains. It's about building a legacy that extends beyond the octagon, something White might have to accept as Ngannou continues to make his mark outside of the UFC.